What is up, everybody? Bootman here, and we are back with another Marvel Snap video. And in this video, as you've probably already guessed, we're gonna go over why you lose so many cubes, all right? We got 2 weeks left in the season. I know a lot of you are still trying to rank up, and I am always fascinated by human behavior. I'm a big psychology nerd. I read a ton of books around psychology, human irrationality, and all this stuff. And I was just reading a book and I'm like, I need to make a video about that. I've already released 2 videos today at the time of recording this, but I was so excited I had to record this now. It'll be uploaded tomorrow. But anyways, I am so excited to teach all of you about this because I'm here to help, all right? But before we get started, if you're new here, hi, my name is Chris. I also go by Bootman. And if you love Marvel Snap as much as I do, especially the competitive aspect, going over different deck, card strategies, learning how to rank up the ladder, all right? If you're interested in that new mode, Conquest mode coming out, you definitely wanna subscribe, ring that notification bell. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and by doing so, I promise you, you're gonna get amazing contests like this, all right? Content, did I say contest? We'll talk about contests in a second, but content like this. Who else is teaching you about human behavior? This will help you make a better player out of yourself, all right? I'm just so excited. I'm stumbling over my words. Make sure you subscribe. Join our Discord server. And speaking of contests, make sure you follow me on Twitter at BootmanMSTZ. Everything's linked down below. My Twitter, my Discord. If you're subscribed, if you're following me on Twitter, I do a monthly contest, all right, a giveaway. I give away 3 season passes every single month, but you gotta be following me over on Twitter. So next month, we got the Into the Spider-Verse season. Gonna be dope. I'm giving away 3 season passes. You gotta follow me on Twitter. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. All right, so let's jump into this thing. Again, huge psychology, human behavior nerd. My mom is actually a psychologist. Fun fact, she's also a recovering alcoholic like myself. She helped me get sober. That's just a side story if you wanna hear a story about a mother helping her son and all that kind of stuff. I actually worked in treatment for a few years. She's a clinical director. It's a heartwarming tale. I'll save that for another day. But anyways, you could say psychology runs through my veins, all right? But anyways, I'm just always fascinated by human behavior and irrationality. How many times a day do you look at people and you're like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why do you do that? Well, I hate to break it to you, we're all irrational. We all love thinking we're the smartest people out there, but we all do very ridiculous things, and Marvel Snap is no different. So I wanna discuss something that comes from a Nobel Prize winner. Hold on, is my mic still on? This comes from a Nobel Prize winner, and it's from behavioral economics. We're gonna talk about it, go over it, discuss how it intertwines with Marvel Snap, hopefully help you become a better player, quit losing so many cubes, help you hit infinite, all that kind of good stuff. All right, first slide, boom. Let's talk about the man himself. So behavioral economics, this is the father of behavioral economics, Nobel Prize winner, Daniel Kahneman. If you're really interested in this stuff, if I get done with this video and you're like, dang, Chris, that's fascinating, grab this book, Thinking Fast and Slow. All of his knowledge and wisdom, all of his years of research are in this book. He actually had a partner named Amos Tversky, who unfortunately passed away from cancer before Daniel Kahneman won the Nobel Prize for this. So they were a duo, and the book's great. You get to hear about their backstory. Also, there's a book about their life and everything like that if you're interested in biographies and stuff. But anyways, I will tell you, this book is very long, very boring, but you will be so much smarter by the time you finish it. It took me months to finish this book just because I was like, and like, I'm interested in this stuff, right? Like I finally got it because so many of my other books talk about this book. So I finally got it, but it took me so long. But by the time you finish it, promise you'll be smarter. Okay, so father of behavioral economics, Daniel Kahneman. So real quick definition, I just Googled definition and this summarizes it pretty well. A method of economic analysis that applies psychological insights into human behavior to explain economic decision-making, all right? So economists, if you're an economist, you're a very rational human being, right? Like whatever's gonna get you the most gains, that's usually the decision you're gonna make. Well, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky realized that people were not like that. People were not making rational decisions. And there's just so many different experiments that showcase this and you're like, what, right? One of them is the sunk cost fallacy. This is one that we can all relate to, right? Let's say you have a broken down car or maybe a broken down computer, whatever, right? And you let's stick with computer. We're all video game computer nerds here. Your computer breaks, right? You think you know what's wrong with it. You go out, you buy a new hard drive, you get some RAM, right? Costs you $300. You shove it in there. computer's still not working. All right, so you go out, you get a new motherboard, blah, 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 costs you another $100, you put that in there, still not working, right? And now it's like you're sitting there, you're like, should I just get a new computer for like, I don't know, 500 to $1,000? Should I do that? But then something in your head says, well, I've already put so much money into this, I can't just stop now. Boom. That is the sunk cost fallacy. This idea that we've already invested in something, so we need to keep investing in it, all right? I love bringing this up as an example because it works in so many different areas of our life. Think about bad relationships. You've been with somebody for 2-3 years, it's going terribly, and then you tell yourself, well, I can't break up with them, I've already spent 2-3 years with them. No, the rational decision is to cut our losses. What about a terrible job you're working at? Well, I've been at this terrible, crappy job that I hate for 10 years, I can't just leave now. No, this is how people get stuck in terrible situations. Anyways, that is one of a bajillion examples of behavioral economics. If you're interested, grab this book. All right, so looping it back to Marvel Snap. We got a few steps to get back to Marvel Snap, so bear with me. All right, so the specific thing that we're gonna be talking about today is prospect theory, which intertwines with loss aversion. So this is the Wikipedia definition. Again, covers it pretty well, just this little short overview. Prospect theory stems from loss aversion, where the observation is that agents asymmetrically feel losses greater than that of an equivalent gain, all right? So basically, if I gave you $5 and I asked you how happy you were, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, okay? You would say like, I don't know, like a 3. $5 isn't a ton of money, all right? So you'd be like, $5 helps me out, I'm a 3, right? Now, let's say I pickpocketed you and you lost that $5 and I stole $5 from you. Then I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you feel? Same amount of money, right? You would feel much worse by losing it, okay? As humans, we are loss averse. We feel losses way more than gains. So in the realm of Marvel Snap, if you gain 10 ranks in a day, the happiness, the joy you feel from that will not compare to you losing 2 or 3 ranks, okay? That is loss aversion, all right? And this intertwines with something called prospect theory. So there's a little story behind this. So prospect theory, some behavioral economists, I don't think Daniel Kahneman was involved in this. There's another guy by the name of Richard Thaler, another smart dude. He's written some good books. A lot of this, here's one of the reasons, so before Marvel Snap, I used to run a podcast. All the episodes are still up. I used to bring on authors, academics, and all that kind of stuff. And one of the reasons I started that podcast and reading so many books and trying to reach the average person is because you need to understand a bunch of this stuff is geared towards very rich and wealthy people. And I realized, well, this can help everybody, all right? So like Richard Thaler, for example, he had stuff that is geared towards Wall Street bankers and stuff like that. But this is for all of us, even if you're not investing in the stock market. Like for example, today we're talking about Marvel Snap. I just gave you examples about staying in a bad relationship, staying in a bad job. So one of my goals with that podcast and something I'm trying to do here is to bring that knowledge to you and get you interested in these things, because I promise they will help in other aspects of your life. I'm gonna mention another book later on, which is really geared towards executives and business people and stuff. And I'm like, no, everybody needs to know this stuff. Anyways, cab driver study. So Richard Thaler and his gang, they were trying to figure out the irrational behavior of taxi cab drivers. So taxi cab drivers, something that they need to do to maximize their profits, their benefits, is to know when to keep driving to make more money, and when to quit because they're just wasting a bunch of time. They could be at home with their families, getting some rest, whatever. Well, what Richard Thaler and the crew found out, and they thought it was pretty weird, was that on good days when cab drivers were making money, they would leave earlier, thus reducing the maximum amount of profits they can make, all right? So they were making money and then they would just stop, right? But on slow days when they weren't making money, they would stay way longer than they should have. And these guys are looking at it like, why are they doing this in the opposite way? You're gonna start seeing how this intertwines with you losing so many dang cubes, all right? So they wanted to figure this out. So they researched this, and these are just human behaviors. This isn't specific to cab drivers, all right? This is something we all do. So they did a study, all right? So put yourself in your shoes, okay? Me and you, we're friends, all right? We're friends. So this is the first scenario. I owe you $100. You're an amazing friend. You let me borrow $100. And I say, hey, you, whatever your name is, dear viewer, I say, hey, let's flip a coin. If you win this coin flip, I'm gonna give you $200, okay? I owe you $100, but let's flip a coin, and if you win, I will give you $200, all right? Now, if you lose, I give you nothing. Do you take that deal? Do you take that gamble of flipping the coin, all right? I owe you $100, and if you win, I give you $200, double that, all right? But if you lose, I give you nothing. All right, scenario 2. I'm the amazing friend. I'm the amazing friend in this scenario. I lent you $100. You owe me 100 buckaroonies. And I say, all right, let's flip a coin. If you win, you owe me nothing. Clean slate, we're good, you don't owe me a penny. But if you lose, you owe me $200. Do you take that gamble? Out of these two scenarios, which one would you take? Well, they asked a bunch of people and we got some results, all right? Basically, the people in the first scenario were more likely not to take that gamble, okay? And here's why, right? Okay, and remember this is very important that you remember this. In scenario 1, the best case scenario, where I owe you $100, best case scenario, you gain $100, all right? Worst case scenario, you lose $100. You already loaned me the money, so you're negative $100. So I don't pay you back, so you're down that $100, all right? That's scenario 1. But more people chose option 2, okay? More people said that they would gamble on option 2. So scenario 2, if you remember, was you owe me $100. If you win, you owe me nothing. If I win, you owe me $200. Well, look at this. Best case scenario, you gain $100. That 100 that I loaned you, you get to keep it. But worst case, you lose another $100, all right? Do you guys see what I'm getting at? Look at these two slides. The only thing changing on this is the scenario. They're the exact same situation. What the heck is going on? Well, what they found out, these behavioral economists, they found out that when we're behind, we're more irrational and we're more likely to take a gamble, okay? So you're snapping away, you're snapping away, and all of a sudden you start losing, okay? Well, you're behind. Snapping is a form of gambling. If you watch my last video that was formatted like this, why is gambling, not gambling, but why is Marvel Snap so addictive? And we do talk about gambling in that. You understand that a little bit, right? Well, it's the same reason. Like I live here in Vegas. This is the same reason people lose so much money. When you're behind, you would rather take the gamble. You're like, well, screw it. I'm already down. How much worse can it get, right? And you keep playing, you keep taking risky decisions, all right? And you're trying to gain back your losses. You see what I mean? I guess that kind of makes sense in the money borrowing scenario. If you had to borrow $100, your finances are probably not great, so why not take a gamble, right? You're already down. But the thing is, that starts to snowball. But then to narrow it down, like let's think about like a very specific game, right? Once somebody snaps and you like stay in or whatever, you're already down. You're down. Like if you were behind in the situation, if you had a bad hand and you stayed in when you shouldn't, right? You're more likely to just stay in. And maybe you stay in way too long and you lose those 4 cubes, you lose those 8 cubes, whatever it is. We are more likely to take gambles when we're behind. So if you see this bottom part right here, stop doing that, okay? So even Daniel Kahneman himself, the father of all this in human irrationality, he says that there's no real defense to human irrationality. Even he is irrational, right? But the thing is, the more you educate yourself, the more you learn about these things, the more self-aware you are that these things are happening to us, the more likely you're going to be to minimize those situations, right? So let's say I play 1,000 games and I didn't know about any of this. I might do that, 8 or 900 times, the bad irrational decision. But now that you're educated about this, if you can bring it back to memory, if you write it down on a Post-it note, on your phone, whatever it is, maybe you only do it 400 times out of 1,000, 300 times out of 1,000. You're more self-aware that this is going on. So this is why I love like sharing what I learn with everybody else, okay? So the last thing, this is what made me remember it. I just started rereading this book. Annie Duke is my favorite. She is just my favorite. So some of you know this, I have like a very amateurish background in poker. I used to play a lot of poker and things like that. That's kind of how I view Marvel Snap. Annie Duke is a professional poker player, and she also has like a master's or a PhD in psychology. I can't remember what degree she has, but now she writes books about like decision making. When I got really fascinated in human irrationality and how to make better decisions, I grabbed her first book, which is like a bestseller. It's called Thinking in Bets. Fantastic book, go grab it. A lot of what I say and things like that, I learned from that book, as well as the other books I've picked up in this realm. But this is her newest book called Quit. Like there's so many books about persevering and staying in it and right? The problem is we don't know when to quit. And part of it is like the sunk cost fallacy that we were talking about, right? Like one of the chapters I just finished in the book not only discussed this study, which made me remember it, but it's talking about like people with startup companies and venture capitalists just investing millions into a company and then not calling it quits and just keep shoving money in there. But there's also other anecdotal examples about people who like died on Mount Everest because they were halfway up and they didn't want to turn back around. You know what I mean? So we all need to know when to walk away. Like for example, if this YouTube channel wasn't growing at all, but it is because you're new and you're subscribing, right? But if this channel wasn't growing, when do I stop? When do I call it quits, right? There's like no other books about this. I was so excited when I heard Annie was writing this. Phenomenal book, go get it. All right, but anyways, that's all I got for this video. I had to record it. And by the way, I'm gonna share this with the Discord server today, even though it's not going up publicly tomorrow. That's how excited I am. So maybe that's one of the benefits of joining the Discord server. Just saying, and being a subscriber, so yeah, in the loop. All right, but anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Like, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me know that you like this kind of videos. I love making this type of video. And as a content creator, that's where the sweet spot is, right? I get to make something that I love and then you guys love it too. Oh, it gives me chills just thinking about it. So let me know if you like this type of video. I am trying to make new, different content and stuff like that. If you love psychology, human behavior, like I said, that's my jam. I will go through my books. I read hundreds and hundreds of books every single year. I have a weekly reading list that I publish on Mondays on my other Twitter, and I try to share it with all of you too. But anyways, I will comb through my books and start making more videos like this with topics and explain how they intertwine with Marvel Snap and stuff like that. So hit the like button if you like it, okay? Share it, do all that stuff. All right, so subscribe if you're new, join our Discord server, follow me on Twitter, all that stuff's linked down in the description below. I do the monthly giveaway, but you gotta be following me on Twitter. All right, I give away 3 season passes, you don't wanna miss it. That's all I got for this video. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.